Imagine waking up just before dawn. The air inside the room is so cold that your breath forms little white clouds in front of your face. The window is covered with a thick layer of frost, and outside the wind whistles between the wooden houses, low and haunting like a soft, endless sigh. The temperature is near -20, maybe -30 degrees Celsius. The world outside is frozen, silent, endless white. You live here, in a small remote village where winter is not just a season, but a way of life. How did the villagers keep themselves warm? How did they spend their days? And how did they sleep peacefully while snow and ice surrounded them on all sides? Before we dive into this calm and unique winter world, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe and tell us from which corner of the world you are sharing these quiet moments. I'd really love to know. Now, imagine with me, you slowly open your eyes. The room is dark except for a faint gray light filtering through the window, covered with a thick layer of frost. You pause for a moment, listening to the deep silence that comes just before dawn. The air inside the room is cold, even under the heavy blankets. Your fingertips feel a subtle sting, and your breath forms tiny white clouds in front of your face. You sit on the edge of the simple wooden bed. The mattress is stuffed with straw, covered with 2 thick wool blankets, and an extra hand-woven cover lies on top. You are wearing a long cotton shirt and warm woolen socks, all designed to help you face the winter cold. In this village, sleeping in winter is never complete relaxation. It is a constant preparation for the freezing temperatures outside, which can reach -20 or even -30 degrees Celsius. You slowly extend your hand out of the blanket and touch the cold wooden floor before slipping your feet into the small woolen slippers placed beside the bed. Every movement is careful, every step deliberate, because sudden jostling could disturb the fragile comfort provided by the blankets. You take a deep breath and listen to the house's quiet sounds, the faint movement of someone in the next room, the subtle crackle of the fireplace, and the low howl of the wind sneaking through tiny cracks in the wooden walls. None of these sounds is disturbing. They are part of the rhythm of daily life during winter. You rise slowly and put on your thick wool coat as you head toward the main room where the stone fireplace stands. You carefully touch the ash and see a faint red ember still glowing beneath the gray layer. You hold a small, dry stick of wood and a bit of straw, gently blowing over the ember. The fire slowly responds, flickering to life. You add larger pieces of wood and watch the small flames begin to spread. Warmth gradually returns, surrounding your fingers and hands, filling the room with a soft, reassuring crackle. You sit by the fire, feeling the house regain its spirit. In winter, a house is not just walls and a roof. It is a delicate system of warmth and safety. The wooden walls, filled with clay and straw, block the wind, and the low ceiling helps retain heat. The warmth you feel now is the result of these small details, each piece of wood and every carefully woven blanket. You wipe a small patch of frost from the window to look outside. The entire village is blanketed in thick white snow. Roofs are covered, chimneys send thin streams of smoke upward, signaling that all the neighbors have begun their day in the same way. In such severe cold, keeping the fire alive first thing in the morning is essential. Lighting it slowly and tending the embers makes the difference between a warm day and a difficult one. You place a small iron pot on the fireplace and fill it with water. It will slowly heat up, ready for a simple breakfast. Warm grains, reheated bread, or perhaps a few dried herbs for flavor. Everything here is prepared carefully, stored since summer and autumn, because the long winter allows no room for mistakes. Grains are preserved, potatoes stored underground, salted meat kept for months, and wood carefully stacked to last every long, cold night. You hear footsteps crunching in the snow outside. Perhaps someone is checking the barn. The animals are kept inside or near the house to benefit from each other's body heat. The village operates as one well-coordinated system. Everyone contributes to keeping everyone warm and safe. You step outside briefly to fetch extra firewood, feeling the cold bite your cheeks. You press the wood to remove any snow before bringing it inside. Warmth here is not just a sensation, it is real protection against the frozen world outside. Back inside, you sit near the fireplace again and watch the water in the pot begin to shimmer with heat. Every movement is calm, every sound welcomed, and every glance outside reminds you of the village's resilience in this harsh environment. By midday, the sun begins to rise slightly, but its white, cold light gives only visibility, not warmth. You use this time for extra chores, cleaning the chimney, stacking firewood, and checking on the animals again. Every step is deliberate, every action intentional, because in this environment, everything matters for survival. You notice the children beginning to play quietly in the snow-covered paths, always under the watchful eyes of the adults. Life here is filled with simple routines and daily rituals, but also with small joys. The crackle of the fire, a warm sip of tea, or the soft hiss of snow under your feet. Work continues until late afternoon when the light begins to fade and the wind grows stronger. You return inside, closing the door tightly and sitting near the fire to regain warmth. You feel the day has passed quickly despite the deliberate pace of each step. And you know the night will come soon, carrying its own challenges, but less harsh thanks to the preparations made during the day. The day here in such villages is not just about sunlight. It is a series of careful preparations that make the night safer and warmer. Every task, every movement, every piece of firewood placed, and every minute spent tending the animals ensures that the home remains a warm, peaceful haven against the cold outside. And as the warmth settles inside the house and the sun rises higher above the frosty horizon, the real day begins in this small village. A day filled with quiet preparations and patient work, ensuring that when night falls, every home will be warm and safe. And in the next part, we will discover how the villagers face the challenges of the long winter day. Chopping wood, tending the barns, and managing every detail of life in this harsh, frozen world. The winter day stretches long, white, and silent, broken only by the crunch of snow underfoot and the whistling wind as it weaves between the slanted rooftops and sneaks through cracks in the wooden walls. After a warm breakfast by the fireplace, you put on your thick coat and scarf and step carefully outside. The cold bites sharply at your cheeks, freezing any exposed skin instantly. Everything around you is white. Rooftops and walls are buried under thick layers of snow, and the trees are draped as if in heavy cotton blankets. You press your woolen boots into the snow and head toward the stacked firewood to bring extra pieces inside. Every step makes a soft, dry, crunching sound, adding to the feeling of calm and isolation, as if the world has paused for a moment before the daily rhythm begins. Outside, you hear your neighbors. One is clearing snow from the entrance. Another is carrying wood into a storage shed. Children help as well, pulling small sleds filled with kindling toward the houses. Everyone moves deliberately, each person knowing their role, because in such bitter cold, neglect could mean a loss of warmth or difficulty later in the day. First, you check the barn and tend to the animals. Horses, cows, and chickens are protected in enclosed spaces away from the harsh winds. Their body heat helps raise the temperature slightly, but the air is still biting cold. You make sure the straw is dry and clean, give them their rations, and watch them move to ensure none are weak or frozen. Back at the house, you bring in the firewood to keep the hearth burning steadily. Each piece of wood is placed carefully to ensure the fire lasts throughout the day. The wood stored since summer represents essential warmth for the night ahead, when the temperature outside can drop to -30 degrees Celsius. Slow, deliberate movements bring peace, even while the wind rages outside. You sit briefly by the fireplace, sipping a warm drink or water, watching the steam rise. This morning calm gives a deep sense of safety, as if the living fire in the hearth shields you from the frozen world outside. Next, you take a wooden shovel and begin clearing the thick layers of snow from the pathways around the house. Every movement is slow and careful, the faint crunch of snow under the shovel adding to the quiet rhythm of winter life. You realize these chores are not mere routines. They are survival, keeping daily life functioning in the harshest conditions. The wind intensifies at times, striking your face while you work outside. But you are used to it. You know patience and slow, careful action are keys to survival in this environment. Any sudden movement could lead to injury or damage to the woodpile, and small mistakes in preparing firewood or food could make life far more difficult. You check the storage next, ensuring all supplies are safe. Grains in sacks, potatoes under the soil, salted meat carefully preserved. Everything is meticulously prepared since summer and autumn. In winter, you cannot rely on nature to provide food, so everything you have must be carefully stored and managed. Later, you sit on a small wooden bench by the hearth, sipping warm tea. The warmth gradually spreads through your body, offering comfort after hours in the frigid outdoors. You watch smoke rising from other chimneys, each house moving in the same slow, calm rhythm. Life here depends on order, cooperation, and quiet more than anything else. As midday passes and the sun climbs slightly higher, its white, cold light brings visibility but no warmth. You use this time for extra chores, cleaning the chimney, stacking more firewood, and checking the animals once again. Every step is intentional, each task vital for maintaining safety and warmth. You notice children starting to play in the snow-covered paths, always under watchful eyes. Life here is simple yet full of small joys. The crackle of fire, a hot drink, or the soft hiss of snow beneath boots. Work continues until late afternoon, when the light begins to fade and the wind strengthens. You return inside, close the door tightly, and sit near the fire to regain warmth. Despite the deliberate pace of the day, it has passed quickly, and you know the night will soon arrive with its own challenges, but less harsh thanks to all the careful preparations made. The day here in villages like this is not just about sunlight. It is a series of deliberate, thoughtful actions that make the night safer and warmer. Every task, every movement, every piece of wood placed, and every minute spent tending the animals ensures that the home will remain a warm, peaceful sanctuary against the cold outside. And as the sun begins its slow descent toward the horizon, the villagers prepare for the long winter night. Lighting the fire fully, readying their beds, and ensuring that all the day's careful work will allow a peaceful and warm sleep. This is what we will explore together in part 3, as night falls over the frozen village. As the sun begins its slow descent behind the snow-covered rooftops, the village takes on a softer, more muted glow. Shadows stretch across the icy streets, and the cold outside intensifies as the day wanes. Inside the wooden homes, the warm glow of fires flickers against the walls, casting long, gentle shadows that dance quietly in the fading light. After a full day of tending animals, gathering firewood, and maintaining the house, the villagers gather near their hearths to perform the evening rituals that make winter life bearable. The crackle of the fire fills the room, a comforting soundtrack against the howling wind outside. Children sit quietly, pulling their knees close under thick blankets, while elders check the fire and arrange additional pieces of wood for the long night ahead. You sit by the fireplace, feeling the heat slowly spread from the hearth into every corner of the room. The water heated during the morning now simmers gently, ready for a warm meal. A simple porridge, reheated bread, perhaps a touch of dried herbs or salted meat. Every bite, every sip carries not only nourishment but reassurance that warmth and safety are secured for the night. The windows are frosted over, shimmering with delicate patterns that glint in the firelight. You lean close for a moment, tracing the ice with your finger, marveling at the intricate formations created by the winter air. Outside, the world is silent and white, seemingly frozen in place, but inside, the village hums quietly with life. As evening deepens, the villagers begin to prepare for sleep. Beds are carefully fluffed with straw, layered with thick wool blankets. Clothing for the night is chosen for maximum warmth. Long shirts, extra socks, woolen caps, and scarves that will trap every ounce of body heat. Even small rituals like adjusting the placement of the firewood near the hearth, or ensuring the animals are settled and warm, are performed with care. You watch the children yawn and curl closer to the fire. Some quietly play a last game in the gentle glow, their laughter soft and subdued, mindful of the cold waiting outside. The adults share soft conversation, often about the tasks completed during the day or plans for the following morning. Even speech is slow, calm, and measured, no sudden noises, no rush, because every sound is amplified in the quiet, icy night. The fire burns steadily now, its glow reflecting on the walls and illuminating the simple wooden furniture. The smell of smoke mixes with the faint aroma of warm food, creating a comforting cocoon against the cold outside. You feel the weight of the day's work lift from your shoulders as you sip a final taste of warm tea, letting the heat spread from your hands to your chest. Outside, the wind whispers through the village streets, bending the bare branches of trees and sending small flurries of snow swirling into the air. It is beautiful, silent, and unforgiving all at once. But inside, the carefully prepared homes remain safe havens, and every routine followed during the day ensures that warmth persists, even as the temperature drops further. You stand and tend the fire one last time, adding a few pieces of wood to ensure it will last through the night. The flames glow brighter, crackling gently, and you feel a deep sense of satisfaction and security. All preparations have been made. The animals are safe, the food is ready, the children are settled, and the adults have completed their duties. Now the villagers slowly move toward their beds. They wrap themselves in blankets, draw scarves around their necks, and lie down with the quiet knowledge that they are protected against the frozen world outside. The room is still except for the fire's soft crackle, the faint breathing of the children, and the occasional pop of wood from the hearth. It is a rhythm that soothes the mind and prepares the body for sleep. The evening stretches on, the village quiet and peaceful, warmed by centuries of knowledge about surviving winter nights. Every ritual, every small action, every careful placement of wood and blankets carries the wisdom of generations. Life here moves slowly, deliberately, and with profound attention to the simple needs of warmth, safety, and rest. And as the night fully settles with the fire glowing and snow gently falling outside, the villagers drift into sleep, ready to meet the cold again at dawn. In the next part, we will follow the night itself, the deep, quiet hours when the world is still and frozen, and when survival depends on the careful preparations made during the day. The village is now silent. Outside, snow drifts softly in the moonlight, blanketing rooftops and streets in a pure, sparkling white. The wind has calmed slightly, and the world seems frozen in a serene, icy stillness. Inside, the warmth from the carefully tended fires radiates through every home, chasing away the cold that bites just beyond the walls. You lie under thick wool blankets, feeling the heat that has been preserved through hours of careful preparation. Every detail from the day, the placement of the firewood, the extra straw in the beds, the warm clothing, the food prepared earlier, comes together to create this cocoon of safety. Here in the small village far from the comforts of the modern world, survival depends on attention to every small act. Outside, the frozen world glimmers under the moon's cold light. Shadows stretch across the snow, revealing the texture of icy drifts and the curves of rooftops. Occasionally, a faint crunch echoes from the distance, perhaps a night animal moving cautiously across the frozen ground, but otherwise everything is still. Inside, you listen to the soft crackle of the fire, a comforting sound that fills the room and lulls the mind toward calmness. Children sleep soundly, wrapped in blankets and scarves, their breaths slow and rhythmic. The adults, too, rest quietly, their bodies warmed by the long day's work and the layers of insulation built into every home. In this village, the night is not simply a time for sleep. It is a reward for the careful, deliberate labor of the day. Every piece of firewood, every blanket, every preparation for the animals ensures not only warmth, but peace of mind. The villagers have learned over generations that a well-managed night is as important as any task completed in daylight. You feel your body sink deeper into the bed, the heat radiating from your own small fire spreading through the room. Your hands, tucked under a soft scarf, are warm. Your feet, encased in thick socks, are safe from the frozen floor. The gentle rhythm of breathing, the occasional pop of wood in the hearth, and the faint whisper of the wind outside create a lullaby unique to this frozen place. Every now and then the snow outside shifts slightly, a soft rustle as flakes settle on already thick layers. You imagine the world beyond the village, forests and hills coated in ice, frozen rivers reflecting the pale moonlight, and fields as white and quiet as untouched silk. Yet here, inside your home, you are insulated from it all. Every action of the day has combined to make this moment possible. Warmth, safety, and the ability to rest fully without fear of the merciless cold outside. The fire slowly dims, its flame shrinking but still alive, radiating just enough heat to maintain comfort. You shift slightly, tucking yourself more securely under the blankets, savoring the warmth against your skin. This is the magic of a winter night in the village, the culmination of preparation, patience, and a deep understanding of nature's harshness. You close your eyes, letting the crackle of the fire and the stillness of the frozen night envelop your senses. Thoughts drift slowly like snowflakes falling in the moonlight, each one soft and calm. Carrying you deeper into the comfort of sleep, you feel a profound connection to the rhythm of life here. Wake, work, prepare, rest. Each day and night cycle is a dance of survival, but also of quiet beauty and subtle joy. Hours pass in this gentle stillness. The village sleeps under a blanket of snow, the fires glowing faintly in the windows. No sound disturbs the peace, only the occasional whisper of wind or the distant crack of ice. This is life in its simplest and most essential form. Awareness, preparation, and rest. And as the night slowly fades toward the first light of dawn, the warmth preserved by careful hands will allow the villagers to rise once more. The cycle of life continues in perfect rhythm. Wake, prepare, endure, and rest. In the next part, we will follow the morning light returning to the frozen village, and how a new winter day begins with renewed care and quiet determination. The first light of dawn slowly creeps over the horizon, brushing the snowy rooftops with a pale silver glow. The world outside remains frozen and silent, yet the soft illumination of early morning hints at the beginning of another day in the village. Inside each home, the fires from the previous night still glow faintly, preserving the warmth that has kept the villagers safe through the long, bitter night. You stretch gently beneath the thick wool blankets, feeling the soft heat lingering against your body. The cold air outside is harsh, but inside, the cocoon of warmth nurtured through careful preparation makes waking easier, almost pleasant. You breathe deeply, savoring the stillness and the gentle hum of life slowly awakening. Outside, the snow glistens in the first rays of light. Icicles hanging from the rooftops sparkle like tiny crystals, and every surface is etched with frost that catches the morning glow. The world seems to shimmer, quiet yet alive, as if it is holding its breath, waiting for the villagers to begin their day once more. The children stir first, pulling their blankets tighter and peeking at the soft light. They yawn, rub their eyes, and slowly emerge from their beds, eager yet careful not to disturb the warmth that the night preserved. The adults follow, moving with calm deliberation, tending the fires and adding fresh wood to the hearth to rekindle the flames. Every movement is careful, measured, mindful of the delicate balance between warmth and the icy world just beyond the walls. You rise and stretch, stepping carefully onto the cold floor, now softened slightly by the heat radiating from the hearth. You pull on warm layers, thick socks, a woolen shirt, and a scarf to trap your breath. Every detail counts. Every action ensures that the morning begins with comfort and safety. just as the villagers have done for generations. The day begins with small chores, checking the animals, replenishing their food, and making sure they are safe and warm. You step outside briefly, feeling the crisp air on your cheeks, and glance at the snow-covered paths. Everything is still quiet except for the faint sound of footsteps, the gentle scraping of snow from roofs, and the occasional distant bird calling into the frozen morning. The village is waking slowly, deliberately, each resident moving in harmony with the rhythm of survival in winter. Inside the home, breakfast is prepared from the carefully stored food, grains, reheated bread, perhaps a bit of salted meat. The warmth of the meal and the steady crackle of the fire soothe the senses, allowing a moment of calm reflection before the day's work begins. Every taste, every sip, carries the quiet satisfaction of preparedness, the knowledge that the long night was survived and the day will proceed with the same careful attention to detail. The sunlight grows stronger, though it remains pale and cold, and the village slowly comes alive. Neighbors exchange soft greetings as they check on each other's firewood, the animals, and their homes. Children run to fetch fresh water or carry small bundles of firewood, their laughter light and restrained, mindful of the frozen world surrounding them. The rhythm of life continues, calm and unhurried, yet purposeful and strong. As the morning stretches on, you pause for a moment to watch the world outside. The snow sparkles, the rooftops are outlined in frost, and the distant trees shimmer with ice. The day is beginning anew, but the lessons of the previous night linger: careful preparation, attention to detail, patience, and the slow, deliberate steps that make survival possible in the harsh winter. You return to your tasks with quiet determination, tending the hearth, arranging firewood, checking on the animals once more. Everything is deliberate, measured, and comforting. Each motion reassures you that the cycle of life here, simple yet profound, continues without interruption. Wake, work, prepare, endure, and rest. And as the day unfolds fully, the village is alive yet calm, each resident moving in sync with the rhythms of the season. The cold outside remains fierce, but inside warmth and safety prevail through careful planning and the quiet knowledge of survival. The snow-covered world beyond the walls may be unforgiving, but within the homes, life continues with gentle, deliberate grace. As the sun climbs higher and the first activities of the winter day fully take shape, the cycle of life continues from dawn to dusk, from night to morning, always guided by care, patience, and the enduring rhythm of the village. And now, wrapped in the quiet magic of this winter morning, you can drift gently into sleep, carrying the calm, peaceful rhythm of the villager's world with you.